Here is question number 6, that what are the environmental implications of the reclamation of water bodies into urban land use? Explain with example. So very simple question, there is no doubt, but in this type of question, if you have a very good example, if you have a more number of example, so ultimately it will help in your fetching 1 and 1.5 marks. That is sufficient to clear this exam or make a difference. So these are the small differences. So those who have more examples, yes, there is no doubt, he has to be awarded. Now in this type question, that where land use is going to be, or water bodies to be converted into urban land use. So simple introduction you can start, that land reclamation from water bodies to urban land use is an example of human induced environmental transformation. So in this context in this context there have been environmental consequences. So this simple line you can write down. After that, if you have a data regarding land use from this water bodies to urban land use, you can provide, but each and every time you don't have a data, so there is no need here to put data. Now after that, you can start directly from how implications. The major focus of this question is implications when you convert water bodies into this urban land use. So here, if you provide 5-6 points, that is sufficient for this demand to suffice this question. First point you can talk on that loss of biodiversity. Very important point, loss of biodiversity. Or there's water ecology going to be damaged. Yes, there is no doubt that that creation of these residential buildings, commercial buildings, ultimately concrete structure causes degradation of water ecology, and it will create a hindrance in nutrition cycle. It will create a hindrance in nutrition cycle of organisms who are living in these water bodies. So very famous example, that in Dal Lake of Jammu Kashmir, these type of issues going on, and this point you can take from current affairs. Now after that, these water bodies acts as a uh, purifier, because they purify the water of cities. If there is water body exist nearby cities, example of that, many wetland in the world, wetlands, you can talk these aspects. Now 3, yes, if water bodies should be converted into land use, then ultimately groundwater water table will be going to reduce over the period of time. So in city, because there is more need of water, you can talk, if these land converted to this urban land use, so the quality of water will reduce, that is water pollution. Water pollution, that is the biggest issue of today. The content of arsenic, copper, and this chromium we are seeing in these today's excesses. These pollutant create a challenge in today's policy making also. Here you can write down a case study on West Bengal, that is there in the news, that in heavy encroachment of water bodies in West Bengal region leads to arsenic pollution. So after that you can talk on that biomagnification and bioaccumulation to organism. You can talk on these as this point. Because of this, over the period of time, flood will increase, because this water acts as a sponge when there is a rainfall. If these are not there, so flood problems will create over the period of time. Ultimately, so these floods will create pesticides over the period of time and diseases, which further create disturbance ecological disturbance, and not only city but that rural urban fringe area, which is, these are the areas where having a characteristics of both city and as well as rural. After that these in these water areas the natural species will extinct over the period of time. We can take an example of that land reclamation of Hussain Sagar Lake in Telangana. उसमें BOD लेवल has increased. After talking on these aspects, now finally we will provide a conclusion, because a good conclusion which is had a broad and futuristic aspect is there. So in question again, this conclusion, you can again connect the question that water bodies play an important part to sustaining natural ecology. So our focus is on which is having sustainable development. In this context, government's initiative like smart city mission should focus on sustainable development, because ultimately sustainable development goal 11 is also focusing on same point, which is on sustainable cities. So you can conclude with a positive and futuristic aspect. So this is question number 6. I will be continuing. Sorry for my voice is not clear, as well as outside there is construction going on. So sorry for that. So thanks.